Greetings, Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising. This is your Western forecast for May 2024. There's a major emphasis on the sixth house sector of your chart. The sixth house represents your day-to-day job routine, your work skills, co-workers, your daily responsibilities. It's also where we look to for health and wellness, whether you are working on your own health for self-improvement, dieting, eating better, or taking care of somebody who might be sick and needs assistance. And the sixth house, along with that theme, is about volunteering and being of service to help others. So those are the key words of the sixth house. And we're having a 5-planet lineup in Taurus, which is very unusual. If you have 3, that's a lot. So 5 is a major emphasis for the whole world in the sign of Taurus. Taurus is about that steady, materialistic, sensual energies. Now, Taurus is 6 signs past Sagittarius. That's what's being really highlighted. And the sun, as it transits through Taurus, it's going to cross over Uranus, as it does since 2018, when Uranus went into Taurus, until next year. So we have another year. So every May, when the sun's in Taurus, it will cross over Uranus. That brings a real spotlight on sudden surprises, unexpected upsets, innovation, breakthroughs. But it's going to be more pronounced, not just because of 5 planets, but because the new moon on May the 7th is in your 6th house, drawing your attention on all these 6th house matters. But this new moon in Taurus is being influenced by Uranus. So there's going to be sudden job changes, good, upsetting. You could be learning new technical skills, especially with Uranus in technology. And then the planets are shifting out of Taurus into Gemini, and Gemini is the opposite of Sagittarius. The opposite deals with others, partnerships, contracts, marriage. So there's a lot to unpack here. But before I break it all down, each of these 5 different planets in Taurus, and then Sun, Venus, Jupiter going into Gemini, before I break all that down, if you enjoy these kinds of videos and would like to see more of them, click like and subscribe. And don't forget to click on the notification bell so you can receive the latest postings. And if you go into the description box underneath the video, you'll find direct links to sign up for my free daily message or how to book an astrology reading. Let's start with the sun in Taurus. The sun goes into Taurus every year, the last week of April, about the first 3 weeks of May. Where the sun is shining in your chart is what is lighting up for you, where your attention, your priority is being directed. Venus is also in Taurus all of May till May the 23rd. Venus is that planet of desire, relationships, creativity. Venus is very strong because it's transiting the sign of Taurus. Taurus is ruled by Venus. So Venus is at home. It wants to give its best energies. And that Venus can be, not only brings more camaraderie, and cooperation, that's all Venus energies, at the job or with co-workers or making a new friendship with a fellow co-worker, that Venus can also bring in more more enjoyable, harmonious working conditions. Could be if you're looking for a job, or if you're trying to attract more business to your company or to your own company. That Venus is that power of attraction. It's a very benefic energies. And Jupiter. Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. Jupiter is a 12-year cycle. If you've been listening to my videos, you've been listening every month for Sagittarians. Jupiter, your ruling planet, went into Taurus, into your 6th house, back in May of 2023. And it finally leaves the end of May 2024, May the 25th, 2024. Jupiter is about abundance, expansion, adventure, optimism. That Jupiter is all this is why Sagittarians tend to be very friendly, for the most part, very outgoing and adventurous. That's the Jupiter influence. But Jupiter is also about justice. And this is why Sagittarians has a reputation for being honest, but sometimes too honest, can be too blunt. That's just a Sagittarius trait. But here has Jupiter, your ruling planet, for the past 12 months, has been impacting your 6th house. You could have expanded your job duties, learn new job skills, because Jupiter is always seeking knowledge. You could have gotten more work responsibilities if you needed a job. You could have been finding a good and better job with that Jupiter. But the 6th house also deals with being of service to others. You might have been more generous, more helpful. But also the 6th house deals with your own wellness and health care. And that Jupiter, on one hand, you could be getting a lot more knowledge, because Jupiter's always seeking knowledge about your own body. If there's something that you need to work on with nutrition or exercise or what have you, the Jupiter can bring you more knowledge about all of that. But Jupiter brings luck and protection. The only downside could be when it comes to the physical body, Jupiter many times can cause one to gain weight. And if you gained weight, well, after the 25th of May, then the Jupiter moves into Gemini, into your 7th house of relationships and partnerships. Now, Mercury is the planet of information, communication, what is on your mind. So having Mercury once a year transiting through your 5th house, now it went into Aries in your 5th house. Aries is a fire sign, compatible with Sagittarius, a fire sign. That began in March, because most of April, the Mercury was retrograding in Aries in your 5th house. And so the last of it is the first 2 weeks of May. But now that it's after all the retrogrades and you're refocusing, that Mercury is now having more confidence. You might be more focused on 5th house matters. 5th house can be dealing with children. The 5th house can be dealing with romance. In business, the 5th house can represent investments and risk-taking. But Mars is a 2-year cycle. You would have heard me talking about it in last month's video. Mars is now in Aries, a fire sign compatible with Sag. Mars is really strong, transiting through Aries for about 6 weeks, once every 2 years, because Aries is the sign ruled by Mars. Mars is at home and feeling much more confident, and transiting through Aries, compatible with Sag, through your 5th house. So it's through the 5th house from the end of April all of May, the first week of June. So that Mars in the 5th house, that could be triggering a lot of romantic passion, that 5th house. Some of you may be giving birth, or you're really working on that Mars, trying to conceive a child. The 5th house, dealing with children, deals with playfulness, and it deals with fun and games, recreational activities, and sports. And Mars is the warrior athletic planet. And being in a fellow fire sign, this is also very favorable for playing sports, for being really competitive, but also can be very favorable for giving birth to a child. And if you are pregnant, I'm sure there's, Sagittarius is like 1/12 of the population of the world. Having that fiery Mars in the 5th house of children goes along with those 5 planets in Taurus in the 6th house of health and wellness, and really impacting the physical body. Because giving birth, being pregnant, can really, shake up all the hormones and the morning sickness, and, well, you've heard all of that. And now, the Sun is going to leave Taurus, goes into Gemini, May the 20th, into your 7th house of partnerships, marriage, relationships. So once a year, the end of May, going into June, the Sun is always drawing your attention to relationships. Venus is that planet of love and desire. It's moving into Gemini, joining the Sun in your 7th, May the 23rd, into the first part of June. That Sun is really putting much more of a spotlight, emphasis on all that desires of Venus. Venus is that planet of harmony in relationships, and it's transiting, highlighting the 7th house of partnerships and marriage. And then Jupiter. Jupiter is going into Gemini, into your 7th house, May the 25th, for 1 year. First time in 12 years. And Jupiter is your ruling planet. So all transits of Jupiter, you really feel, and it really impacts you on an individual level. One of the things that Jupiter represents, so does Sagittarius, as Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, is justice, the legal system. Now, Jupiter is not a romantic energy. It's more mental, seeking knowledge, wanting to travel, wanting to expand. But when Jupiter goes into the 7th house, which could, many people who have been dating will get married. Jupiter going to the 7th isn't bringing you love. You have to look at other indicators. But if you're in love, if you're in a relationship, that Jupiter that can rule justice, this is where you'll find a lot of people will finally get married when Jupiter is moving through the 7th house of marriage, in many ways to make it legal. But it's going to be there for 1 year. This is also really favorable for contract offers, partnerships. That's all that lucky expansive Jupiter in the 7th house. But remember, Mars, assertive Mars, is risk-taking Mars, the whole month of May, is in the 5th house of romance and children. And that Taurus could be impacting the physical body. And then at the end of May, going into June, and then Jupiter's there for a year, there's a real emphasis on relationships. So certainly romantic relationships where you're falling in love with that Mars in the 5th house, all that passion, or you are, conceiving or giving birth to a child. Now, the new moon on May the 7th in Taurus, in your 6th house. So wherever the new moon is once a month, that's where your intention is focused. It's on 6th house matters, work, health, service. But this new moon for the whole world is being influenced by unpredictable, liberating Uranus. And the sun, as it's transiting through Taurus, is going to cross over the Uranus in Taurus. So all that sun, Uranus, new moon, Uranus, expect the unexpected with, now that could be an unexpected job change because the 6th house of work. Or Uranus can represent technology. So you might be having to learn all new computer systems, softwares, technology at your job. Or Uranus represents personal freedoms and independence. And you may be really suddenly deciding you got to figure out how to have your own business and be independent. And then Mars through the 5th house also could be taking a big risk. And then the end of May, with those planets going into the 7th house of partnerships and lucky protective Jupiter there for 1 year, this could be favorable for joining forces with a partner to start your own business. Certainly, I talked about getting married. But if you're starting your own business or going into a partnership with that Jupiter in the 7th, that Jupiter will also will bring in a supportive, beneficial partnerships or contracts. But it's really favorable for bringing a lot more customers, more clients. So any kind of new business with that 5-planet lineup in your 6th house, and with Uranus, it all could start very suddenly, that you're really feeling this strong desire, I got to be doing my own new thing. And then that Jupiter in the 7th house is where your focus is on bringing in customers and clients, which is very beneficial. Now, the new moon is where you're planting seeds of new beginnings, whether it is health and wellness, starting a new diet program, exercise program, or new job skills, or getting a new job, or starting up a new business. That was your intention. And everybody's different, so I'm just touching all these different possible ways. 2 weeks later is the full moon. The full moon brings to light. It reveals what has been developing with that intention in the 6th house. Well, the full moon will be in Sagittarius on May the 23rd. So around the 23rd, that full moon brings to light, reveals what was started with the new moon. The full moon's in Sagittarius. Well, you're either a Sag rising or a Sagittarius sun, which means this full moon is in your sign, and you're putting a real spotlight on all new beginnings, visibility, feeling a lot of confidence. I would think this could be really favorable for relationships, personal relationships, but also launching a new job or business. Now, this is part of the forecast where I like to also look at how these various energies will impact your body, your relationships, your business. Now, I've already touched upon all of this, but in summary, having that 5-planet lineup, this intense, determined, stubborn Taurus energy in your 6th house, you could be really working on self-improvement. This would be ideal for a healthier diet, getting rid of bad habits, learning, more physical fitness, training to strengthen the body. And in Taurus, you're like a dog with a bone. You are determined. You're stubbornly going after this goal. And with Mars, athletic Mars in Aries, a fire sign compatible with Sagittarius, you have all the drive and energies to make a lot of improvement physically. And you can really channel this energy really effectively through sports and exercise. With relationships, the love planet Venus is moving into your 7th house of relationships once a year, May the 23rd. It'll only be there for several weeks, but the sun is really emphasizing and putting a spotlight on those needs for partnerships and love with the sun in Gemini on May the 20th. So certainly the last week of May, going into the first couple of weeks of June, that sun Venus there's this desire for compatibility, for romance, for love. And Jupiter is moving into the 7th, as I've already mentioned, how a lot of people will get, the Jupiter doesn't bring you a relationships. The Jupiter can bring you a marriage proposal. And that might be with the full moon in Sagittarius, when you're feeling all lit up and really enthusiastic, and you're just so happy and expansive, all that Sag energy in your first house, with Jupiter moving into the 7th. Many of you might be getting that proposal by the end of May. Many of you could be getting a proposal to go into a business partnership, or if you're at work or with your own business, you could also, by this end of May, certainly going into June, is sign a major client to give you, that could really bring you more financial security. I want to thank you for watching. If you like information on how to book an astrology reading or check out my 2-question offer, visit my website at gardino.go. That's .co. Until next month, be safe and well.